Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 182 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, where we use female words. This would be July 1st if you're starting at the new year. The fear to look within. The Holy Spirit will never teach you that you are sinful. Errors she will correct, but this makes no one fearful. You are indeed afraid to look within and see the sin you think is there. This you would not be fearful to admit. Fear in association with sin the ego deems quite appropriate and smiles approvingly. It has no fear to let you feel ashamed. It doubts not your belief and faith in sin. Its temples do not shake because of this. Your faith that sin is there, but witnesses to your desire that it be there to see. This merely seems to be the source of fear. Remember that the ego is not alone. Its rule is tempered, and its unknown enemy, whom it cannot even see, it fears. Loudly the ego tells you not to look inward. For if you do, your eyes will light on sin, and God will strike you blind. This you believe, and so you do not look. Yet this is not the ego's hidden fear, nor yours who serve it. Loudly indeed the ego claims it is, too loudly and too often. For underneath this constant shout and frantic proclamation, the ego is not certain it is so. Beneath your fear to look within because of sin is yet another fear, and one which makes the ego tremble. What if you looked within and saw no sin? This fearful question is one the ego never asks, and you who ask it now are threatening the ego's whole defensive system too seriously for it to bother to pretend it is your friend. Those who have joined their sisters have detached themselves from their belief that their identity lies in the ego. A holy relationship is one in which you join with what is part of you in truth, and your belief in sin has been already shaken, nor are you now entirely unwilling to look within and see it not. Your liberation still is only partial, still limited and incomplete, yet born within you. Not wholly mad, you have been willing to look on much of your insanity and recognize its madness. Your faith is moving inward, past insanity and on to reason, and what your reason tells you now, the ego would not hear. The Holy Spirit's purpose was accepted by the part of your mind the ego knows not of, no more did you. And yet this part, with which you now identify, is not afraid to look upon itself. It knows no sin. How otherwise could it have been willing to see the Holy Spirit's purpose as its own? This part has seen your sister and recognized her perfectly since time began, and it desired nothing but to join with her and be free again, as it once was. It has been waiting for the birth of freedom, the acceptance of release, to come to you. And now you recognize that it was not the ego that joined the Holy Spirit's purpose. And so there must be something else. Think not that this is madness. For this your reason tells you, and it follows perfectly from what you have already learned. There is no inconsistency in what the Holy Spirit teaches. This is the reasoning of the sane. You have perceived the ego's madness and not been made afraid because you did not choose to share in it. At times, it still deceives you, yet in your saner moments, its ranting strikes no terror in your heart, for you have realized that all the gifts it would withdraw from you in rage at your presumptuous wish to look within, you do not want. A few remaining trinkets still seem to shine and catch your eye, yet you would not sell heaven to have them. And now the ego is afraid. Yet what it hears in terror, the other part hears as the sweetest music, the song it longed to hear since first the ego came into your mind. The ego's weakness is its strength. The song of freedom, which sings the praises of another world, brings to it hope of peace. For it remembers heaven, and now it sees that heaven has come to earth at last, from which the ego's rule has kept it out so long. Heaven has come because it found a home in your relationship on earth, and earth can hold no longer what has been given heaven as its own. Look gently on your sister, and remember the ego's weakness is revealed in both your sight. What it would keep apart has met and joined, and looks upon the ego unafraid. Little child innocent of sin, follow in gladness the way to certainty. Be not held back by fear's insane insistence, that sureness lies in doubt. This has no meaning. What matters it to you how loudly it is proclaimed? The senseless is not made meaningful by repetition and by clamor. The quiet way is open. Follow it happily, and question not what must be so. We read in Shakespeare's Hamlet, "Methinks thou dost protest too much." The ego proclaims loudly that we should be afraid to look within, that when we look we'll find sin there. That is the source of all our feelings of shame. And that is not the secret fear, that is the loudly proclaimed fear. The secret fear is that when we look, we will find only innocence, nothing but innocence and love. And A Course in Miracles wants us to look and find that for ourselves. It is not enough for us to be told. It is a thing for us to discover. It is in our joining with our sister that we see through the ego's illusions and insanity. We can't see it separated and alone. We can only see it when we're joined. That is the power of the joining. A Course in Miracles has described our new sense of purpose given to the Holy Spirit as a newborn infant, and it uses the word born and birth in this text reading, that it refers to our liberation being only partial, still limited and incomplete, yet born within you. And then later on it talks about how that part of us that remembers heaven from the beginning and only longs to join with our sister and be free again, it has been waiting for the birth of freedom. And in our lesson, we're going to see it talk about this innocent child within us, this child of heaven that is at our core. And so there's a lot of talk of this birth, this newborn infant, and this innocence that is at our center, that is our most true self. The more joined we are with our sister, the more sane we are, and the less convincing we find the ego's insanity. A Course in Miracles is constantly reminding us how important our sister is, how much gratitude we owe to her, how she is our salvation. All right, lesson 182. I will be still an instant and go home. This world you seem to live in is not home to you, and somewhere in your mind you know that this is true. A memory of home keeps haunting you as if there were a place that called you to return. Although you do not recognize the voice, nor what it is the voice reminds you of, yet still you feel an alien here, from somewhere all unknown. Nothing so definite that you could say with certainty you are an exile here. Just a persistent feeling, sometimes not more than a tiny throb, at other times hardly remembered, actively dismissed, but surely to return to mind again. No one but knows whereof we speak, yet some try to put by their suffering in games they play to occupy their time and keep their sadness from them. Others will deny that they are sad and do not recognize their tears at all. Still others will maintain that what we speak of is illusion, not to be considered more than but a dream. Yet who in simple honesty, without defensiveness and self-deception, would deny she understands the words we speak? We speak today for everyone who walks this world, for she is not at home. She goes uncertainly about, in endless search, seeking in darkness what she cannot find, not recognizing what it is she seeks. 1,000 homes she makes, yet none contents her restless mind. She does not understand she builds in vain. The home she seeks cannot be made by her. There is no substitute for heaven. All she ever made was hell. Perhaps you think it is your childhood home that you would find again. The childhood of your body and its place of shelter are a memory now so distorted that you merely hold a picture of a past that never happened. Yet there is a child in you who seeks her mother's house and knows that she is alien here. This childhood is eternal, with an innocence that will endure forever. Where this child shall go is holy ground. It is her holiness that lights up heaven, and that brings to earth the pure reflection of the light above, wherein are earth and heaven joined as one. It is this child in you your mother knows as her own child. It is this child who knows her mother. She desires to go home so deeply, so unceasingly. Her voice cries unto you to let her rest a while. She does not ask for more than just a few instants of respite, just an interval in which she can return to breathe again the holy air that fills her mother's house. You are her home as well. She will return, but give her just a little time to be herself within the peace that is her home, resting in silence and in peace and love. This child needs your protection. She is far from home. She is so little that she seems so easily shut out, her tiny voice so readily obscured, her call for help almost unheard amid the grating sounds and harsh and rasping noises of the world. Yet does she know that in you still abides her sure protection. You will fail her not. She will go home, and you along with her. This child is your defenselessness, your strength. She trusts in you. She came because she knew you would not fail. She whispers of her home unceasingly to you, for she would bring you back with her, that she herself might stay and not return again where she does not belong, and where she lives an outcast in a world of alien thoughts. Her patience has no limits. She will wait until you hear her gentle voice within you, calling you to let her go in peace along with you to where she is at home, and you with her. When you are still an instant, when the world recedes from you, when valueless ideas cease to hear value in your restless mind, then will you hear her voice. So poignantly she calls to you that you will not resist her longer. In that instant, she will take you to her home, and you will stay with her in perfect stillness, silent and at peace, beyond all words, untouched by fear and doubt, sublimely certain that you are home. Rest with her frequently today, for she was willing to become a little child that you might learn of her how strong is she who comes without defenses, offering only love's messages to those who think she is their enemy. She holds the might of heaven in her hand and calls them friend, and gives her strength to them that she may see she who would be friend to them. She asks that they protect her, for her home is far away, and she will not return to it alone. Christ is reborn as but a little child each time a wanderer would leave her home, for she must learn that what she would protect is but this child, who comes defenseless and who is protected by defenselessness. Go home with her from time to time today. You are as much an alien here as she. Take time today to lay aside your shield, which profits nothing, and lay down the spear and sword you raised against an enemy without existence. Christ has called you friend and sister. She has even come to ask your help in letting her go home today, completed and completely. She has come, as does a little child, who must beseech her mother for protection and for love. She rules the universe, and yet she asks unceasingly that you return with her and take illusions as your gods no more. You have not lost your innocence. It is for this you yearn. This is your heart's desire. This is the voice you hear, and this the call which cannot be denied. The Holy Child remains with you. Her home is yours. Today she gives you her defenselessness, and you accept it in exchange for all the toys of battle you have made. And now the way is open, and the journey has an end in sight at last. Be still an instant and go home with her, and be at peace a while. I find this kind of a beautiful mystery. Who exactly is this child which is spoken? Because it is spoken as being other than us, the reader. There's this dichotomy of the one reading and this other that is the child and is referred to as the Christ child. Now, I have been trying on, as I practice A Course in Miracles, this idea that when it speaks of our sister, it is not a whole bunch of sisters, all the different people, the humans, or plants and animals or ideas that we see floating by in this present moment on earth, but it is just one sister, which is basically absolutely everything in the universe that we think of as being not me, not us. I've been watching it to see. It's interesting because it keeps speaking of our sister singly as one sister. And I'm seeing when it says sisters, it's talking about us, the reader, in plural, almost as though each shard and fragment of God that is reading A Course in Miracles, it's them that they think of as a separate self because of the insanity of the ego, and then everything that they perceive of as being not them, that is the rest of the universe. So I'm wondering, does this refer to sisters in plural only when it refers to us in plural, the different versions of the shards of God that are reading and taking A Course in Miracles? I'm just trying this on. I'm trying to figure this out. This idea that this is a love story between the thing that thinks it is a separate self and the conglomerate of absolutely everything else. And it feels to us like that's outside of us. But the truth is, no, it's inside of you, because all there is inside of you. Outside is a projection. It's a hologram. It's an illusion. And that's part of why it's so important to look within, because it is within that we find absolutely everything, all that is. And we are healed of this separation. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure all this out. I am a student of the Course. I am trying to understand. I realize that it explains that understanding is absolutely impossible until we come home to knowledge. Until then, we're just guessing. We're just approximating and trying to get closer and closer and closer until we're close enough to the truth for the Mother herself to reach out and pull us in. Such a beautiful mystery. I wish you, dear listener, happy practicing.